Good evening, this is Ned Oshiro. As I promised yesterday, I will give updates on foreign workers living in Japan. But before I give today's updates on this conditions, I'd like to give some briefing on background as for your information. That is that I wonder if you know that Japan has never accepted any single immigrant uh, over the past many years. But I know that you have observed a lot of people, a lot of foreigners living in Japan. So there are three, or I should say four types of visas which allow people, foreigners stay in Japan. The first one is that those who got married to Japanese nationalities, so becoming their spouse. So they're allowed to stay in Japan as long as they want. The second one is the so-called what we call the professionals who have been recruited or invited by some governments, or the Japanese government or the Japanese companies to help assist their operations activity in Japan. So they're considered as professionals, which include college professors, teachers, English teachers, and some specific. The professionals who require special knowledge to be able to the implement whatever they are being expert in. So those are being considered as professional. So they're given special walk-in visa as a professional. The other two types are what we call, first one is this: technical internship training program, which we abbreviated TITP, which was enacted around, say, I think less than 10 years, if my memory is correct. Anyway, this program was set up to help transfer technical know-how and knowledge of some industries Japan has accumulated over the past years from Japan to countries in Southeast Asia, mainly Southeast Asia, by receiving some chosen young talents into Japan from these countries, and training them on these special skills and expertise and know-how, and they send back to their respected countries after 3 to 5 years of their stay in Japan. That's what they call technical internship training programs. So those who have no skills, special the expertise schedule, but rather want to learn from Japan through this hands-on experience, and they will be able to learn a great deal about this technical expertise and know-how, and then they expect to return to their respective countries to dedicate themselves to that development, that particular industry in their countries. So that's what they call technical internship training program. But this has, as this program has been implemented, it has faced some difficult problems or issues. That is that those young talented people have been exploited by intermediaries which deal with the deployment of these young talents for working in Japan. What they did is that they have compelled these young employees, or I should say, maybe before that, they even that apply for this the special training program. They compel them to pay hefty amount of money as their commissions. You guys could visit Japan just because of us, our efforts to help you out. So that's why they have those applicants or the trainees have to pay hefty amount of money, such as much as like 1 million uh, yen, which is about no, yeah, which is about 100 no $10,000 to $15 as a commission. So that's become social big social issue. So the Japanese government has decided to address this problem pending issue. That's why they came up with this what they call specified skills visa 1 and 2. What they are is that they can apply for this specified skills visa and 1 and 2 only provided that these applicants must have some certain knowledge in the industry they are applying for. And once they are accepted by after the passing the Japanese test exams and the tests on special skills related to that industry they're concerned or they apply for. So this skill, special skill visa 1, would allow these trainees to stay in Japan for up to 5 years. And if they are very good at it and they excel, show that their performance is so high that they should be allowed to continue work in that industry, then they can proceed to specified skills visa 2, which will allow them to stay in Japan as long as they want, as long as they have this employment contract with the employers, and they will be allowed to bring their own families into Japan and live with them for the rest of their life. So that's the two types of, the 4 or 5, right? Anyway, the visas. So maybe I should, before covering a lot of other topics, I also want to tell you about this. That is recently Japan. I'm sorry. They have finally said Japanese government admitted that they has recently exchanged entered the contract with the Vietnamese government regarding the authentication of some government-appointed sending organization as a legitimate, agency. That it means what they mean by is that when this specified skill visa and 1 was introduced enacted into force last April. Yes, right. In April last year. So 2020, right. The reason for this specified skill visa was designed to rectify the situation, as I explained to you, the exploitation of these foreigners by these intermediaries. So what they did is that they allowed each individual applicant to be able to apply for this specified skill visa program individually, as long as they pass the two tests. One Japanese exam is an exam on Japanese language proficiency, and second is an exam on the technical skills and the knowledge they have uh, in that particular concerned industry. So as long as you pass the two exams, you can come to Japan directly after exchanging, of course, the exchanging contract, employment contract with their promising or prospective Japanese employers. So it means they could come to Japan without going through this intermediary, so-called sending organization, which was given the role when they dealt with this, technical internship training program applicants. So remember the major the issue arising from this TITP, which is a technical internship training program, was the fact that these trainees have been exploited by intermediaries. So that's the special skills and visa 1 and 2 was mainly designed to correct this situation, correct this, the exploitation, or get rid of this exploitation. But yet, what the Japanese government has done recently is that they have allowed this Vietnamese government, not only the Vietnamese government, also Cambodian governments, what I heard, is to reinstate the this sending organization's role as a legitimate agency. The reason being that Japanese government has explained. It's the reason being that they have to. Vietnamese and Cambodia have their own domestic policy of rules, regulations, which says that those who want to seek employment outside their country have to go through this agency, the government-sponsored agency. Now, government itself does not do any of those, paperwork, anything at all, but rather they assign this, the nitty-gritty, the application procedures to private agency outside the government. That's where the corruption started, though. But then again, they allowed it because, as I said, Japanese government could do nothing about this because that's the law. Each Vietnamese and also Cambodian government saying is that they have to go through this particular channel in order for these trainees to come to Japan. So I don't know how this the recent change in this regulation impacted. Okay, now the updates. One of this I would like to explain. That report too is that the Aomori, which is northern part of Japan, very cold and very cold country, prefecture. Anyway, Aomori Japan Agricultural Cooperative has recently hired 3 young Vietnamese as part of its efforts to address the shortage of manpower that has been resulted from the aging of its Japanese employees. And as you know, Japan is an aging society and also sharp drop in the birth rate. So they have to bring in some young, people from outside. That's the only option. So Aomori Japan Agriculture Cooperative has decided to hire these 3 Vietnamese as their employees so that they'll be able to take care of the daily activities, daily duties of that, the uh, regional autonomous government. That's a good sign, though. Lastly, this is recently that's announced. As you may know, that this coronavirus impacted not only the world itself, but also Japan itself too. As well. But there have been those foreigners staying in Japan while visiting here for businesses, or the student working. Stay here in Japan as students. All those who are visiting here under the special specified, the visa program sponsored by the Japanese government. They they want to go back to their own countries. That there is no available flights, airplane flights, and they are allowed only to normally they allowed up to 90 days. So in order for them to stay without going back to their country, because their country themselves block the entries of all the foreign nationals, and as well as even their own nationals into their country. So they have no choice but have to stay in Japan. So what they did is Japanese government decided loosen or lift up the temporarily, though that's temporary measure. That's what they say. They allow those foreigners staying either as a student or as a visa status to renew their stay in Japan for up to 90 days. They can stay up to 90 days. I don't know what would happen after that. This 90-day expiration expires. Anyway, and then they're allowed to stay and also work for up to a total of about 28 hours a week, which is 4 hours a day. They can work as a part-timers, of course, and so that they will be able to support their living here in Japan financially. Japanese government will not be able to support all these foreigners financially, so they instead giving them money that they allow these foreigners to. You can if you can find a job, you can work, you can stay here, but the condition is 28 hours a week. And I don't know, as I said, once this 90-day, this coronavirus it seems to be longer than this 3 months. But anyway, the recent announcement was just like this. At least that was a relief for those foreigners staying in Japan. So that's it for today's the update on the foreign workers in Japan, or foreigners living in Japan. Thank you very much. And I try to I'm sure that you have noticed that I'm being tumbling because English is not my mother tongue, but I try to explain as detailed and understandably. Hope you'll be able to understand me. But anyway, I try my best to keep up with this daily updating. Thank you very much. Bye now.